Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma 231 here, back in days about Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 45 of 2025. I think I make, reference to this every single time, but oh my gosh, it's 2025 and 45. Those two numbers have the same final number, and they rhyme together. Oh my gosh, it's so insane and crazy. I can only imagine what's going to be like next year whenever I'm like, hey, hello, everybody, welcome to issue number 36 of 2026, and I'm, popping off here in the background oh my god, I can't believe it, numbers. What am I doing already? I'm 20 seconds into this recording, and oh my god, I don't know what's going on here. I'm talking about Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 45 of 2025 today. That's sort of what's going on here. I have the regular good old 14 series that I talk about in Weekly Shonen Jump that, as normal for this series, I'm going to be sitting down here and talking about all 14 of them. Of course, they are Kagurabachi, Ichi to Witch, Ruri Dragon, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Someone Hurts, Harukaze Mound, Ekiden Bros, Ping Pong Peril, Hima-Ten, Ultimate X's Kyoshi, Akane-banashi, Blue Box, The Elusive Samurai, and Witch Watch. And in this video, I am going to be skipping through a few of these chapters. I want to talk about them, but not for very long because I am extremely hungry right now. It is currently 4:24 p.m. on the 23rd of the month of November of 2025. It's a Sunday, and I have not eaten since 8 a.m. this morning. I've really just been sitting in a room talking about animated manga for most of this day. I'm going to be completely real with all of you guys. Hey, I had to go drive a friend somewhere, so I had to go walk 20 minutes to my car, drop them off somewhere, park my car, walk 20 minutes back to where I am right now. But besides for all of that, I've been sitting in a room talking about animated manga. I know the most carbohydrate consuming thing a person can do, but either way, I'm very hungry. But I want to talk about manga before I eat, so we're going to talk about manga before I eat. So that's sort of what's going on here. If you guys don't know how this series works, I'm going to be talking about all 14 of the series I read in Weekly Shonen Jump this week, and giving my thoughts on them, what I think about this part, that part, whatever I want to talk about, right? And at the very end of the video, I'm going to be sitting down and ranking all of these series from what I thought was my favorite Weekly Shonen Jump series of the week, all the way down to my least favorite, and all of the other 12 spots in between, along with picking out my favorite character of the week. And I'm sorry, I already know who my favorite character of the week is. As soon as I read it's probably going to be my chapter of the week, too. It was such an incredible chapter that meant so much to me as a manga fan, but I will be talking about that whenever we get to the second to last series. Oh my gosh, spoilers already! But with all that being said, I really have nothing else to say. I'm very hungry. Let's talk about Kagurabachi, chapter number 96. And speaking of Kagurabachi had the magazine cover of Weekly Shonen Jump this week. It's a really cool illustration where it's just hey, here's Chihiro in a suit, and here's Hakurei in a white suit. And it just looks really cool, the two of them, walking down the aisle looking all badass. Chihiro's, sitting there adjusting his tie. It's just, a really cool image. And along with that, of course, being that Kagurabachi had the magazine cover, it also had the lead color spread this week, which is just a really cool one with all of Chihiro's pretty much villains that he has cut down. And Kugiri. Kugiri is here too. And Hirohiko. Hirohiko's not dead yet. But the rest of the people, they are pretty dead. Granted, I think Shiba more dead with Soya than anybody else, but hey, Soya's also here too. It's the Kagurabachi villains, right, for chapter number 96, titled Urgency. Really, this entire chapter is just hey, Izami is coming through. We get to see what his sorcery is. It's going on with his backstory. Hey, his father ran a medical place, and his whole sorcery is about the old coins that pretty much contract your muscles to make you feel better. It's a pretty cool thing, but I've talked about this chapter ad nauseum on this channel and also on a Kagurabachi podcast I'm on. So at this point, 6 weeks after this chapter came out, I really have nothing else to say about it. It's a really cool thing where it's hey, by this chapter, we see that Hokuzono gets a whole lot better in his, artistic skills, or, no, this is the chapter with some other issues artistically. It's the next chapter where Hokuzono, gets completely fine after, all of his deadlines that he had to meet, right? But it's a really cool thing, just seeing all these coins fly around Yura's, body exploding, no, I don't like this. And then Izami just coming through with a broken arm due to the dragonfly ability and punching Yura straight in the stomach. It looks really cool. Izami looked awesome in this chapter. It's just bro, I've talked about this chapter ad nauseum. I really have nothing else to say about it. But Kagurabachi was a very good chapter this week, and I thought it was very good. I like seeing Izami do all of his stuff. Pretty awesome, right? Moving on from that is Ichi to Witch chapter number 53. This chapter is titled A Heavy Blow. And this chapter starts off in the funniest way possible for me, as of course as we'll learn, the Chrono Weaver magic is here, along with the Chrono Weaver magic's wife pretty much. We're going to learn in a second her name is Minerva, so I will just be calling her Minerva now for the sanity of Glowplasma pretty much. But I love how she's like, oh, now we gotta set out all of the plates here. Oh, honey, would you please get all of the cups for our guest dear? And he's like, how many? And she's like, oh, 5, please. Oh, can we also use our festive red ones? And he's like, sure. And he's like, okay, awesome. Everyone, please have a seat here pretty much. Let's eat our food. And everybody's like, what the hell? What's going on here, right? As pretty much we just get introduced, she's like, hey, I should introduce myself. My name is Minerva, and this is my hubby, Crow. And he's like, my name is Chrono. I am the Chrono Weaver magic. I just want to imagine, that his voice is, so very deep. And she's like, hey, but I always call you Crow. Enough, Minerva. And aren't you going to call me Minnie like always? No, this is a tangent. Let's get back on topic. I just want to imagine that's how he sounds, because I get just such a fun dynamic for such a big bubbly personality, for a contrast of yeah, I'm just here, hanging out. My name is Chrono. I am the Chrono Weaver. It's just such a funny thing, right? And we eventually just get a few gags where it's like, hey, what do you love most about this person? And they're all talking back and forth. He gets embarrassed, throws everybody outside into the water. But as all of these jokes are sort of coming on here, it eventually gets to the topic at hand. As Minerva's like, hey, you guys are here because you want to acquire my husband, right? And I love how Deskross is like, yeah, basically, and she pretty much gives the whole idea of hey, they're the world haters out here, and we want to face up against the world hater, and we think your abilities are going to be very awesome. So if we can take your trial, and Minerva's like, no, you're not doing that, outstretching her arms, being like, no, I love my hubby, and I don't want anybody to take him from me. And besides, if he gets acquired, there's no telling what kind of effect it may have on our baby, right? And if you insist on acquiring him, then you're going to have to go through me to do it, pretty much, right? All of this aside, right? Eventually, Ichi sort of speaks up, being like, hey, Chrono Weaver, can I ask you a question? He's like, what? And pretty much just like, hey, Kumagi read all of the reports on you to me. Oh, it's so sweet. He listened, this ADHD child. But eventually just says hey, this is a very vicious stretch of the ocean, and over 300 ships have sunk here, and a lot of people have died. Did you do that? And the Chrono Weaver's like, no, it wasn't me. Another magic lives in these seas. He is very temperamental and dislikes humanity. These seas are choppy because he's twisted the currents to keep all of the humans out. And he's just like, oh, so you don't have any ill will towards any of us humans pretty much? And Chrono is just like, I am uninterested in humanity with the single exception of Minerva. And I just want to imagine how happy Minerva is, oh my gosh, it's so cool, right? As pretty much Chrono just says hey, however, if anybody threatens Minerva or the child, I will not hesitate to kill them. As Ichi's like, okay then, that's pretty fine pretty much, right? And he's like, hey, the hunt is now canceled. He doesn't trigger death for death. Pretty simple at that, right? And eventually, it sort of gets to the whole idea where Deskross is like, all right, well, we're calling off the mission then. There's really not more to do about it. I'll report that to the association. But of course, she, tries to make the joke being like, hey, but aside, let's know, and hey, it doesn't matter. Either way, there is a bigger issue we need to report on first. And Gokuraku is like, yeah, never mind a mission. I guess the major question right now is the baby. And as he's sort of saying all of this, we see that Jiki Shiron in the background speaks up. Yeah, it's how to get rid of that baby. And everybody diverts their gaze over to Jiki Shiron. Chrono looks over. Kumagi, Ichi, and Deskross are all like, you son of a bitch, what have you done now? As eventually Gokuraku's like, hey, hold on, what did you just say? And she's like, oh, did I say something weird? And Kumi's like, hey, Master Jiki Shiron, getting rid of babies, that's not, very good. But Jiki Shiron's like, hey, what's wrong with that? I mean, a half magic, half human baby? Come on, those totally shouldn't ever be born. It's never happened before, and what if they turn up to be some crazy monster? And most of all, the whole idea is just so gross. There's no way the world would celebrate the birth of a baby as we see Minerva comes in, and just slaps the shit out of Jiki Chiron. Just like a perfect BOOM! And Minerva's just like, hey, let me turn on my microphone. And we see that Minerva's just like, hey, even if 100 people hate my child and 1,000 people think they're disgusting, I'll still be glad that they were born. And I'll love them enough for 1,000,000 people because I'm their mom. And Jiki Chiron's like, hey, I'm just telling the truth. As Chrono just speaks up, silence, everyone. Witch, do you have a spell to hide your presence? And Descross nods. Then use it now. No one make a sound. Not unless you wish to die. As we see on the board of the ship, or on the deck of the... Why did I call it the board? That's... What is my wording right now? The board of the ship. Oh my god. We see there's some character up here, and the character's just like, hey, Chrono, you in boy. Hey, it's me. Your best bud is here. And also, I got you a present, so let me in, okay? As we see, it's this octopus-looking magic. I don't know how to describe this guy. He's almost like entirely white. And also, he's holding a stick with an eyeball of some creature on it. That's a little weird, right? But, yeah, this character, this probably antagonist for the arc is here. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty neat there. Ichi the Witch, good chapter. I just don't know what to say. It was really fun. I love the whole, like, slap halfway through of, like, hey, no matter what, even if somebody hates this person, and also, like, hey, we're just gonna drop this magic hump because we don't need it. We'll get this other magic instead because that's, like, obviously how this arc is going to go. Ichi the Witch, as normal, just very good chapter. I don't know how Osamu Nishiki and, I should know the artist of this, Yozaki? No, it's not Yozaki. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad now. Shiro Uzaki. Oh, yeah, it is. I think I said Yozaki. It's Uzaki. Hey, I was sort of close, right? But either way, from Ichi the Witch, we're going to move on to Ruri Dragon, chapter number 39. This chapter is titled, The True Ending. Oh boy, it's a little scary. I really love the cover page we get here because it's like, hey, we see Ruri here. She's wearing some glasses, got some headphones on, and she's just wearing a shirt that says Double Disaster Second. That's pretty neat, right? As much as I really do love this Ruri Dragon chapter, there's not a whole lot for me to really sit down here and talk about without getting into, like, all of the schematics of the chapter. Ruri's really just, like, showing off her notebook to everybody. The student, or not one of the committee chairs on the, like, student council, or not student council, like the club council or whatever. She sort of is like a little bit of an antagonist to Ruri in the classroom. Later, she comes outside and, like, makes amends with Ruri. We also, like, learn a little bit of lore, like, hey, whenever Ruri used her ability to sort of, like, go through and change the weather, another dragon in the background was also working to change the weather to make sure it wasn't, like, some big, calamitous event or whatever. Ruri then, like, sits down with some of her other classmates and just talks about her abilities with them and, like, hey, does this scare you, all this various stuff? What do you think I should be at the school or not? And eventually, it gets to the point where this committee chair, and I think her name was said in the comments of Viz, Kokoro, is what I'm going to say it is, because I legitimately don't know, and I'm going to act like it is, because, like, I can be ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, as all of this happens, Kokoroko says, like, hey, I wonder what Yoshioka has to say. Of course, Yoshioka is the person who Ruri burned his hair off in the very first chapter of this manga. And Ruri's like, why him specifically? And she's like, well, and oh my gosh, look who it is over here. It's Yoshioka. And he's sort of, like, staring down at the pool where all of these people are sort of doing their things. And he's like, I'm staring at the pool and, like, creeper much. He's like, hey, I'm just, like, my pal's on cleaning dude down there. Like, give me a break, right? And eventually he's like, hey, so about all that stuff you said earlier, Ruri, and she's like, yeah, let me hear all of your thoughts on all of that, right? And Yoshioka just says, like, hey, the day you breathed fire onto my head, I had a chat with your mom. And Ruri's like, yeah, my mom mentioned all of that. And he's like, yeah, she did. Well, anyway, she said that your heritage is now an open secret, and it could be very tricky for you to stick around places. And she was thinking of having you quit school. And I said that was probably for the best. Dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Ruri Dragon is a series where conflicts get made and get, like, disrupted in, like, 8 pages from wherever that conflict is made. If I think anything, this is about to be something where he's like, in past tense, I said it was probably for the best, but now, knowing you a bit differently, I think it's going to be something else of sort of, like, this relationship, right? That's what I'm guessing. Yoshioka, he's a cool guy, I guess. Ruri Dragon, it was a good chapter this week. I just don't have much to say, and also my stomach is very rumbling. I'm very hungry, but Ruri Dragon, good chapter, don't get me wrong. I always love Ruri Dragon. It's just a good slice of life series with, like, hey, coming of age. I'm a dragon now. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo chapter number 5 is, I guess, where we're going now. This chapter is titled, Senility. Is that how you say it? Senility? Or, no, okay, I'm gonna have to, Senility. Okay, we're gonna have to see how this word is pronounced. Senility. I was right. And it's the condition of being senile. Wow, I wonder if there's like a senile old man we see in this chapter. That'd be pretty crazy now, right? But all of this pretty much happens. There's this old guy who's sort of running around here now. He is this child who we know was sort of, or this kid is the, like, Tanaka guy we knew the other day. I'm gonna call him Marmalade Boy because, like, his ability, he calls it in a minute, like, Maternal Wraith's Fury, Marmalade Boy. I'm gonna call him the Marmalade Boy because I think that's a little funny, you know? But yeah, he's sort of doing all this. Tsurugi's here to cut him down, right? And I just love the idea of, like, damn it, I need to hurry up and take care of him so I can go check on Maru. Everything turned out exactly like we predicted, but the one thing we didn't expect was this old geezer. Oh boy, pretty much we just get explained, like, hey, this guy's strong. He isn't just, like, some chump or something. He might have skills of a grade 1 Jujutsu sorcerer. That's not very good from what I remember. Granted, I don't remember much. I think, like, grade 1 is, like, right under special grade or something. I'm gonna be real, I don't know Jujutsu Kaisen that well, right? But either way, all of this happens. Tsurugi gets, like, almost stuck in this, maternal wrath Shikigami thing, but he barely dodges out of the way. As the old man just is like, hey, in time, you'll see that saving a life feels no different than taking a life. It won't move you at all. And Tsurugi's like, yeah, I don't plan on rotting away like that. As the boy just is like, hey, but strangely enough, there are some chords in the human heart that never stop resonating, no matter how many times they're struck. A hand pulling yours as you walk down the street lined with cherry blossoms. A weight of an oversized backpack. The first time you're given a number representing yourself. Realizing that there's a whole world out there. I loved being in the first grade, so I want to be a first grader over and over and over again. And Tsurugi's like, yeah, man, that's pretty nice and all, but keep talking if it makes it easier for me to kill you, pretty much, right? As the old geezer just says, oh, well, in time, you'll see that saving a life is no different than taking a life. It won't move you at all. And Tsurugi's like, yeah, my man, you said that already. But strangely, there are chords in the human heart that never stop resonating, no matter how many times they're struck. And Tsurugi's like, oh, my man, you said that already. As he just continues, I loved being in the first grade. I want to be a first grader over and over again, forever. And Tsurugi's like, wait, is the cause of this whole incident an elderly curse user who went senile and lost control? As eventually as all of this happens, we see that Tsurugi ends up using the new shadow style simple domain, Moculation. That's pretty cool, new shadow style. I feel like I remember that from Jujutsu Kaisen. I do remember it, but I'm like pretending I'm stupider than I am, right? But the Marmalade Boy is sort of able to sort of dodge here out of the way, and it's like, oh no, this is crazy. And eventually he gets like shoved down on the ground from like the top level of a school all of a sudden. I know they're at a school. Apparently they're at a school, right? As the domain starts to expand over the skyline. Emerge from darkness, blacker than darkness. Purify that which is impure. Or it's a curtain, my bad. As we just get the whole idea where this guy's like, oh, I walked right into his trap. As we see that Mino is here, which if Mino's here, it means Yuka is here. Yuka comes through in a moment and uses a biting twist attack on this old geezer. And now it's Yuka and Tsurugi here to deal with this old guy. And that's what they do. We get like this 2-page spread of just a bunch of action panels till eventually they just come through. Yuka takes care of the Shikigami and Tsurugi takes care of the old guy. And the old guy just, like, collapsed on the ground. Oh, no, so their partnership isn't just addition, it's multiplication. I'm a first grader. I don't know what multiplication is, right? But eventually it's sort of like, oh, the calm after the battle. But oh no, that's actually not that guy. The guy was hidden inside the puppet of, like, the main thing, pretty much. That's pretty crazy. And he's like, hey, are you out of stamina already? And takes this needle and shoves it through Yuka's shoulder. Oh, I don't like this. And also shoves a few needles in Tsurugi's abdomen as well. And it's like, oh no, this isn't very good. The old guy pretty much explains, like, hey, I transform using human skin for my fabric, and I can also pick the guardian spirit's body inside, like, skin as well. And he's like, hey, this is boring. See, there's not much to be gained from killing each other. I lost a few marbles from my arithmetic set. I gotta go home and look for them. And as he sort of goes over to do all of this, he looks over as some building starts to, like, fall down. Oh, what is that? As he looks over to where Maru's body is, laying on the ground, where a third eye is just open, staring inside the Marmalade Boy's soul. And yeah, that's where we end this chapter of Modulo. Yeah, Maru, that's pretty scary, right? Along with all the bones and, like, shovel falling around you. Yeah, I don't particularly know if I like... It'd also be really weird if it's, like, not falling from the sky, but, like, raising and levitating up. That'd be pretty messed up, right? But, hey, good chapter of Modulo. I just don't have a whole lot to really say about it, right? Chikuzai Modulo was pretty good. Next up is Someone Hurts, chapter number 4. And very succinctly put, this is a very fun chapter where we start off with a one-liner prompt. Next week's one-liner prompt is, your house is like a cafe. What kind of cafe is it? And of course, this leads Mime down a path pretty much having to go with Kugare to be like, hey, let's go to a cafe and figure out this prompt pretty much, right? And they end up going to a cafe where we see that Mizuo knows the owner, right? And it's this girl named Natsu Akane. And the two of them end up sort of working at the cafe for a day. And oh my gosh, look, Mime is, like, wearing a butler's costume, and Kugare is wearing, like, this very nice maid outfit. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. They go around just serving this stuff all day, pretty much, right? Until eventually, like, it's like there's a whole chapter of the two of them just having fun, cracking jokes, doing all this various stuff, right? Until eventually, we end up seeing that later on, while all this is sort of happening, Kugare comes over to where Natsu is, and they pretty much are just, like, talking about all of this stuff. And Natsu's like, hey, it's pretty rare to see El Potato collaborate with someone. And she's like, hey, but Mime is pretty funny. And she's like, oh, is that a fact, right? And she just says, like, oh, well, I guess I should say that Mime seems like fun, so I want to be with him. And Natsu's like, is that it? Yeah, you've got it pretty bad, right? Yeah, you've got it pretty bad right now. And, oh, look, it's a very little bit of a nice thing there. Eventually, like, later out of the day, they leave Cafe Akabana and start walking home on their own. And, it's just like, hey, you better get Red on Air next time. Like, hey, hold on, be reasonable. I'm like, hey, I'm looking forward to next week's show. As we end off with, Natsu being like, yeah, the two of them had really nice looks on their faces. A legitimately cute chapter. Like, not much else to say about it. I liked it. Like, I feel like some of most chapters, it was good. I don't know. I'm not really deep into the introspection today, right? Someone Hurts, I did enjoy it. And, like, hey, it's just, like, pretty nice to be like, oh my gosh, look at that. Mime and Kugare getting along so great, right? Harukaze Mound, chapter number 16. Fun fact, we get a color page for this chapter of Harukaze Mound. It's pretty cool. Like, it's got, like, team uniform colors. We've got most of the characters doing, like, their things on there. And very succinctly put, at the end of this chapter, Kingo hits the ball with his bat, and he smashed it. He swung his own way finally. Oh my gosh, Kingo finally did it. Yeah, this chapter was okay. I mean, I don't know. It was a good chapter. I don't know. I just don't care about Harukaze Mound right now. Hopefully I can care more in the future, but, like, just right now, there's just something about it that ain't gripping me, like Embers or any of these other sports series. Like, I don't know why I resonated with Embers so much, but, like, Harukaze Mound right now, I'm just not into it, But yeah, it sort of is what it is there. Kingo, congratulations, you hit a ball with a bat pretty much, right? And if we want to talk about chapters that really didn't do much for me this week, you want to talk about Ekiden Bros at chapter number 14? Yes, it's a very cool thing, sort of having the whole battle between Matoi and Kinzaki. Of course, I didn't talk about many of these chapters last week because of the nature of the video I did on issue number 44. But I just love Matoi's whole thing, and we even get more of his backstory here. It's just hey, it's my fault, I'm slow, all this various stuff, right? And eventually, hey, the only way you can win is because you work the hardest, pretty much, right? And all of this is happening, and oh my gosh, Nobunaga and his brother, Hirohide or something like that, are just standing here sort of waiting on all of them to get there from Matoi and Kinzaki, who is going to win. And it looks like Kinzaki's in the lead, but Matoi just keeps on running. He's like, Kinzaki, you'll see I can take you down. I'm staking everything on this victory, and starts to run past Kinzaki. And Kinzaki has to keep up. He took the bait for the running. And it's and we just get this great narration. This is the first time I've ever seen Kinzaki make a face like that. As Kinzaki is running, and Matoi's running as well, coming off of Matoi's body, are just the flames of heat, of passion, of running, of enjoying what you do. As it's burn, run until I burn out. I'll burn everything. As hey, this is the second to last stage, leaving just Nobunaga and his brother something Haide. I don't remember what the first part of his name is. To win the Ekiden pretty much. Who's gonna win? We'll find out next time on Ekiden Bros. It was a good chapter. I definitely enjoyed it more than Harakaze Mound. It's just hey, for some reason, just the character writing in Ekiden Bros is just better than Harakaze Mound. And whenever you have series based on characters like manga, Ekiden Bros really gets to me, man. I came out of the series not caring about Matoi, and now I'm damn, Matoi's pretty neat. I like him. Of course, I know we have how many more chapters of this series after this? 3, but you know what? We've got enough time to see Nobunaga's whole thing and finish the first Ekiden. And only Ekiden, but we finished an Ekiden, right? Ekiden Bros, pretty good. I did enjoy it. Well, along with that is Ping Pong Peril, chapter number 13. This chapter is titled The Genius and the Snake. I get what they're doing. Here they're talking about Tiara, and they're also talking about Pari. Oh, that's so neat, right? So, of course, last chapter ended with, what's his name? Tiara pretty much getting on the back of all of these people for, as he calls it, a chicken battle, right? As he's getting ready to sort of go around and use his overwhelming height advantage to destroy Pari here in the moment. And we pretty much see that is what's going on. The whole idea is hey, your chicken fighting stance puts you in a higher position, allowing you to smash down on the ball. As we see that the score starts to move in Tiara's favor. It goes from 2-4 to 6-5 to 8-6. And as all this stuff is happening, we eventually get to 9-6 with Tiara in the lead. And Tiara's hell yeah, I'm putting pressure on the coach. Chicken fighting is almost letting me exert all of my power. However, I am sacrificing mobility pretty much, right? And it's wait a second, mobility. That's right, this setting really makes it hard to return all of the ping pong balls. Yet, Pari has been doing so well. He's been able to deal with things thanks to his overwhelming mobility, but I never had anything to help me like that since the start of this game. And yet, he always returns the balls straight to me. There's no way he wouldn't notice my weakness. As eventually Tiara gets near Pari, being hey, coach, are you going easy on me? And Pari's what did I say? This match is worth 986 million yen to me. And I'm betting my entire ping pong career on beating you. And Tiara's oh, here goes. Here comes a smash. And he gets ready to go back and serve. He's no, wait a second. This smash is deep. And it's sharp. And it's crawling on the ground. It's a snaking smash. As we see, the score is now 9-7 with Pari scoring a point. And Tiara's what? No, that was so deep. How can I ever deal with that, right? As Pari just thinks like, hey, it swerved way deeper than I expected it would. No, this is Tiara, my bad. I was wrong. The coach knew what he was doing. He just didn't feel like exploiting it. He intends to crush me with all of his might. And eventually Tiara comes back over and is like, hey, Pari, why are you going to such lengths against me, pretty much? And Pari explains, oh, I don't like you. Your ability to learn and absorb techniques at such a blinding speed, and your stupid honesty that allowed you to beg for instruction over and over, and your diligence that continuously pushed you. You're genius. While I was consumed with rage, you submerged me even into an even deeper shadow. And Tiara's like, what? Like, I'd expect him to like me, but to hate me that much? And it's like, what is all of this going on here, right? And at this point, we see there's a red light currently going on, and one of the kids who's pretty much holding up Tiara is like, hey, Tiara, you said that red lights were break times, right? And Tiara looks up. Wait, why is he winding up for a serve? No, a snake serve! As you just get some narration saying, the crosswalk table is over 20 meters long, and the reason that Tiara assumed that red lights were break times was because he was confident that a serve wouldn't be able to carry that far. But the super spin that Pari Hebizuka is capable of hitting can make such a super long serve possible. As we see it hits and the score ticks up once more to 9-8. As Tiara's like, hey guys, thank you for carrying me, but I am getting down. They're like, oh, what are you planning to do? And Tiara says, there's nothing I can't do, but I still want to learn from him. He's someone that I looked up to. And he's like, hey, if he's really getting serious, then I need to get serious as well. As he's like, I need to do this, right? And as Pari's looking over, he's like, hey, I hate Tiara. Geniuses like him always shine impossibly bright. But what I really hate is myself. I was also attracted to him, making me want to shine him even brighter. I'm going to defeat you and restart my career. As he looks up, wait, why Tiara? Why are people so attracted to geniuses? As we see that the red light isn't over, but Tiara is now running straight into traffic, and he thinks, hey, I handled a serve that was impossible to return with the gimlet shot, but this is on a completely different level, where one wrong move means death. This chapter was just like peak fiction. I love just seeing Tiara run through the traffic at the very end and like, hey, I want to see the conclusion to this match. This is probably my favorite ping pong peril match we've had so far, and I say that when we've had some really good ones. And yeah, this chapter is just awesome. I can't wait to see where we go next time. Ping Pong Peril. I don't know why I love this stupid series so much, but I do. Good manga. But yeah, Ping Pong Peril, good chapter this week. Moving on from Ping Pong Peril, we've got Hima-Ten chapter number 61 up next. This chapter is titled Himeno's Holiday. And I don't want to talk about most of this chapter, but I'll at least talk about the first page, because it's a very important page for seeing how Iomori thinks about his life currently. He's like, hey, there's my dream girl, Kanai, who I've had a crush on since middle school. Then my best friend, Yoshino, who respects my house cleaning skills more than anyone else. And then my younger schoolmate, Hana, who I've been rooting for while she's trying to break into her career. I'm surrounded by 3 amazing girls. Can I really ignore my feelings for the other 2 and just like one of them? As of course he remembers some of Miss Himeno's advice. He's like, hey, there's only one person who I can go to for advice. And he gets up the next morning and he ends up going and seeing Miss Himeno. There's a little bit of a thing where like Himeno has her previous idol manager coming over, and this kid, I don't like his design. I think his hair looks really stupid. I don't like this kid, and the way he's like being like, oh, Miss Himenis, you're Miss Himenis. It's just, I don't know. I don't like this character. Miss Himeno's been asked to learn how to coach the swim team, or not coach the swim team, but like be an advisor to it. And because of that, she needs to learn how to swim. And there's a lot of portion of this chapter where eventually Iomori has to help out. And oh my gosh, they get to a swim thing, and oh my gosh, she's an idol. She's wearing a bathing suit. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. And Iomori's the only one who knows how to swim here, so Iomori has to help. Eventually getting to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, all of this stuff going on. Oh, she's so hot, she's so beautiful. And there's also this weird thing of like, this Himeno being like, hey, I can't make Iomori fall for me. I'm his teacher after all. But then the series just goes to such lengths to be like, man, he's gonna fall for me, isn't he? And it's like, no! God, I don't know what to even, this is just bad manga. Eventually, till it's Iomori, they're walking home later, and Iomori's just like, hey, Miss Himeno, I need to ask you for relationship advice. I was hoping for your help, and he's like, hey, I know that I'm using up your time as a privilege, and she's like, oh, hey, how about this? Finish your exams, ace them, and after those, I'll give you some advice, pretty much. You better not fail me, Tanichi, and he's like, I won't do it at all. I understand why this chapter needs to exist. It needs to set up a goal for Iomori to try to strive for, to get advice on how to deal with all these three girls who he sort of admits he has feelings for, right? Very early on for him to be like, hey, this is how all of this is happening. But you know what? We're 61 chapters into a Hera manga, and a bad one at that, because Himeno exists now. I don't like this character. It's always weird when there's an adult character in a series like this. And yeah, Hima-Ten, whenever you have a chapter focusing on Yoshino, Kanai, or Kana that doesn't involve Himeno, it's going to be a good chapter. But whenever it does, I don't care. Yeah, this was Hima-Ten. I don't know. It's, I don't want to say anything else about it, because it's just, Moving on. Ultimate X Kyoshi, chapter number 63. Oh boy, I just introduced Ultimate X Kyoshi, and my stomach growled so hard I had to physically stop talking for like 2 minutes, so I think I need to hurry up my thoughts on this issue of Weekly Shonen Jump, right? But either way, getting into chapter number 63 of Ultimate X Kyoshi, this chapter is titled Everyone's Favorite Burger from Wiki D's. It's such a good chapter title, right? Of course, I didn't talk about this chapter in the last video, but Kyoshi just, fought one of the, demons in the Demon Realm after getting 3 rules from Shooten that were, don't draw attention to yourself, don't leave anything behind, don't get involved. And he just broke all 3 of them at once. And Kyoshi's like, oh shit, this is really bad. But at this moment, Tosaka runs in being like, well done, brother, pretty much, and acting like demons. And he pretty much explains, hey, we have to, act like demons because fighting is sort of normal here, right? They sort of go through and get all sort of riled up, do all this various stuff. And I also love how there's, this comedy of, even after Shooten's man, I can't believe he just defeated a high-level demon lord, or just a high-level demon, not demon lord, without any precept power. Man, Kyoshi is really powered up after beating the great demon lord, right? Either way, there's this demon child on the ground who, just had all these events going on, who was the reason Kyoshi stepped in. And I love how Tosaka's like, hey, so take care on your way home, moron, pretty much, right? And Kyoshi's like, yeah, here's your precious stuff, you dummy, and puts it in his hand, and the boy's like, oh, thank you, and sort of, runs off. Eventually we get to the whole idea of, hey, how are we gonna find Mr. Shishido? Oh, we need Cook the Excess Bird to take on the spotlight, pretty much, right? And Cook runs around, and eventually they end up at a restaurant. Of course, as you could tell from earlier in the chapter, this restaurant is called Wiki D's. It's such a good name. I need to find a name like that to name, a D&D restaurant to make my characters love me forever, or to make my players love me forever. Not that they already don't love me, but, man, naming a restaurant Wiki D's is that's so good. Oh my gosh. Of course, Mickey D's, just turning over the W to make it, wicked, so it's oh my gosh, it's the hell, pretty much, the demon realm, oh my, the humanity. But either way, they go get some food, pretty much, and man, everything is so spicy, this is pretty crazy, right? With all of this, Shooten explains, hey, what we're in currently is former Roth territory. It's rougher than I expected. And he also explains that, hey, there are 3 great demon lords of hell. One of them was Asura Roth, and there's another one who named, Helzebub, who pretty much controls the, main areas of the demon realm, right? And it's pretty much hey, ironically, now that Asura Roth is gone, the general safety of his territory has gotten even worse, and it's made it hard for low-level demons like we saw earlier to live here, right? And I love how Kyoshi's oh no, is Old Man Yamada also in danger? I hope we see Old Man Yamada again. That would just, make my year, pretty much, right? But eventually, we see the Shooten and Tosaka head outside, leaving Kyoshi and Sosuke inside. And they're eating their food, and all of a sudden, beside them, there's just like this demon sitting here. He's like, oh, yum, yum, yum. Wiki D's has always got to beat a Tormentor burger. And this guy looks over at Kyoshi's pretty much plate, and he looks down, and he's like, oh, you're quite the challenger, getting their limited time Inferno fries. That's pretty crazy now, right? I was debating if I wanted to order him. Hey, how about this? Can I try one of your fries pretty much? And Kyoshi's like, oh, sure, I don't see why not. Like, you want some of mine, or you're really, like, they're a little sweet? Like, sure, like, here you go, right? Hey, he's made a friend in the demon realm. And this guy takes a few fries and shoves them in his mouth and bites down with his fingers still in his mouth and just, like, he eats the tips of his fingers. This guy is weird, right? And he's like, oh, sorry, other people's food just tastes so good, pretty much. And then he grabs Cook the Exodus bird, being like, hey, is this chicken yours too? It looks delicious. But of course, here in the moment, Sosuke points out 2 fingers to the side of his head, being like, you're going to die. And Kyoshi holds his arm where Cook is. It's a very cool scene, right? And they're like, hey, hands off. And this demon's like, oh, this isn't for eating? Oh, I get it. I'm taking way too much of your food. My bad. I'll pay you back next time I see you, right? This guy is definitely not only the villain of this arc, this is definitely also this Hellzabub guy. There is no way in hell this isn't this guy. Of course, if I'll pay you back later, right? But as all this happens, Shooten walks back inside, and it's like, hey, we found out where Mr. Shishido is. He's been captured, and we just see, like, there's a bulletin. Extra, extra, the cross-paladin Shishido to be publicly executed. And oh my gosh, look at this, they found him, right? We see the Shooten's like, hey, Sasaki's got some crazy foresight. Bring you too long might have been the right move after all, right? And Sasaki's like, hey, Shooten, I got the to-go ready. I got the to-go order ready, pretty much. And you're like, hey, what's all this about? And Shooten just explains, like, hey, good then. Shishido is probably really hungry. Let's go pick up our commander and bring him a little treat. Man, Old Exodus Goshi, pretty good chapter. I enjoyed it. I like seeing this weird Demon Lord guy. I thought he was pretty interesting. I'm guessing he's Hellzabub. That makes manga sense to me, pretty much, right? Ultimate Exodus Goshi had a good chapter this week, though. Moving on to Akane-banashi, chapter number 117. This chapter, we have a color page. Let me just say that. We see as well, Akane, Hikaru, and Karashi. It's the 3 rivals, and they're walking up a staircase. This chapter's story 177, titled Deeper. As we start off with another one of Akane's anthology stories for being cheapskates, pretty much, right? As we see that some man walks up to some guy's house being like, here it is, good evening, would anybody happen to be home? I came during the daytime asking about the secret to becoming rich, and I'm now here to learn the lesson. And a voice from inside the house is like, stop banging on the door, you're gonna damage it, man. Just slide it open and come on in. And this character's like, oh, pardon me, sir, and he opens up door, oh, it's, pitch black in here. And this other guy inside is like, hey, we don't put on any lights at night. It's simply a waste. And this other guy's like, oh, I see. How are you? Oh, are you just naked over there? What's the point of wearing clothes, man, when you're in perfect darkness? But aren't you cold? Don't worry, I've got a way to keep me warm. Just look above us. Oh, above? Wait, there's a rock hanging over your head? Yeah, I just sit here and watch the rope holding that rock up. It looks pretty precarious, doesn't it? If that rock drops, it'll easily end my life. And the thought that it might just fray and drop the stone at any moment, it causes my pulse to rise and sweat to beat on my skin. Wait, but isn't that like a chilling sweat? The audience is laughing at this entire story. And Hikaru is standing in the background, of course, watching Akane do this from the sidelines. And Hikaru just thinks like, wow, it's a bizarre atmosphere. She's speaking in a way that accentuates the story so keenly the performer fades away. It's what she showed in the Karaku Cup. It's the disappearing stage. As Hikaru smiles and just shakes. Oh, she's back. The one who utterly destroyed me. The overwhelming version of Akane Arakawa. But of course, we get Hikaru here. We've got to see Karashi. As Karashi just thinks like, hey, It's basically the opposite of what Shomei told me, the whole idea of I only saw a performer and none of the story registered. Here, it's I only saw a story. None of the performer was really there in the slightest, right? She's doing no forced laughs. By removing the performer's ego, she makes the audience dive deeper into the world of the story. This is the truth behind the disappearing stage. But that alone can't explain the mood in the audience. There must be something different from the Karaku Cup. That's it. She's evolving. So what is it? How did she change? And how did she turn out this way? As Karashi's like, damn it, I don't get it at all. As we cut back into the story, as the guy's like, yes, the secret to becoming rich, come out into my backyard now. Hey, what? You want like a light because you're not wearing any footwear? Like, there's a rock by your feet. Do you see it down there? Well, just feel free to pick up that rock and smash yourself with it right in between the eyes. And the guy's like, oh, what do you mean? Like, are you kidding? If I do that, I'm just going to see stars. Yeah. And you can use that starlight to see. Oh dear, you can't be serious. The audience just laughs as Ikin is watching this performance, and he just thinks like, man, she didn't insist upon herself, but matched the energy of the audience. Pitch perfect directions that guide you without resonance into the world of imagination. A state of dreamy reverie. It goes deeper than sinking into the story. It frees you from your earthly concerns and gives you the delight of immersion. An invitation into the story's world. In that sense alone, she stands at the level of an Okanban. The auditorium exists within Akane Arakawa's creation. An environment of peace and tranquility. As we get this really cool image of like Akane reaching out her hands towards the audience, grabbing it whole, and holding the entirety of the theater, her entire performance, in her hands. It's, oh my gosh, it's such an awesome moment. I don't know how to manga makes such a good manga, but like, Yukui Suenaga, you written an incredible story, and Takamasa Mue, how you illustrate to be this beautiful, I don't think I can ever understand, right? But of course, here in the moment, we see that Master Isho is sitting in a room watching a television. One that's broadcasting this performance. What's this thing called? Zunim Prize, maybe? And of course, we just hear Akane, well, if I do that, I'm gonna see stars. And you can use that starlight to see by, right? Oh dear, you can't be serious. And Isho sits in his chair. And as he sits, a smile cracks open his face. A grin unlike anything we've ever seen before with Akane-banashi's Isho Arakawa. Great chapter of manga. Akane-banashi continues to show, while Shonen Jump is not just a battle magazine. With a manga this great, I don't know what else you can say, right? But with Akane-banashi, let's move on to Blue Box chapter number 214. This chapter is titled, Do Your Best. This is a weird chapter, man. We start off, oh my gosh, Taiki got beaten by Kudo in a rally. This is pretty weird, right? Or no, Haruto beat Taiki. That's pretty weird, right? He goes and sees Chinatsu. Chinatsu's like, man, I joined a basketball club at my college. The most Chinatsu thing I've ever heard. The two of them sort of go and they go over to Chinatsu's apartment. She's like, you want to come in? Taiki's like, I've got something else to do. And oh my gosh, we see that the neighbor of, I forget his name right now, we see that Chinatsu's neighbor's like, oh, hey, I know that boy. That's the kid that Yuso was talking about, right? He calls him the Yonex boy. I don't know if I just like missed a chapter or something, but yeah, that's the thing, right? Taiki's talking with his mother. Her mother's like, hey, do your best, Taiki. Taiki's like, hey, thank you very much. The next day, oh my gosh, Kudo beats him at badminton. Wow, crazy, right? Eventually Hina comes over, like gives him some chocolates. He's like, oh, thank you very much. Taiki's like, man, I want to talk to Chinatsu, but she said she's at her club tonight. I can't talk to her then. Until eventually he gets home, and oh my gosh, Taiki's mom is just on the floor. Oh my gosh, like, she's coughing, like, I would cough. My throat is ruined right now. But yeah, that's Blue Box. Bro, it's a chapter of Blue Box. I don't have much to say about it, really. It happened. Blue Box, right? I don't know. I just don't have much to say about it. That's why I'm in Blue Box this week. Moving on to the Elusive Samurai, chapter number 221. This chapter is titled Compensation 1352. And this chapter really just starts off on that whole point of everything is going terribly, right? But we also see that some of the reinforcements of the Elusive Warriors are being able to go and help out Tokuyuki in this battle, right? As we see that Uesugi's two brats are like, hey, go fight for Tokuyuki, man, defeat the Shogun, right? Telling all this to Kojiro. We see, like, Myojin-sama currently comes over and is like, hey, I won't let you kill the Shogun, and he's like, hey, I won't let you defend Takayuji either, right? And, like, both sides' reinforcements are coming all together, clashing, letting some of these characters get away. Mainly Kojiro, Shina, Ayako, and all of these are people, and they all start riding over to where the battle is currently going on. And yeah, they see the dead body of Uno-sama laying on the ground. They're like, Takayuji! And all of them pretty much get up and start to attack Takayuji, right? And Tokuyuki's like, oh my gosh, they're forcing Takayuji back. Like, I don't believe it, right? Like, I'd expect no less from the three strongest Elusive Warriors. And it almost looks like Takayuji is almost enjoying this, right? We see a few of these other characters, right? And there's all sort of like talking, and there's some really cool moments where like, hey, Tokuyuki, Messenger-sama, you can do this, right? As eventually, we see that Nagao is talking to Utsugi, being like, hey, the Suwa, Nito, and Uesugi. Hojo Tokuyuki has many allies not related by clan or common interest. Such generals are rare. And Uesugi's like, yes, the Hojo name is enough. He's the successor to a regent, so they respect him even if it does not benefit themselves. He's humble, yet curries favor with no one. He treats everybody the same. And that's why, even among samurai, for whom hierarchy and gaining advantage means everything, he makes friends who stand as equals. I also enjoyed campaigning with him. He took care of my children and contributed to my theories about the strongest warrior. He was even worried about me, a former enemy. Ah, what a shame. I've grown fond of him. I hate to let go of this, but I must repay him. I promised him in rewards, but I've not yet given him any land. Use the new weapon, men. May it serve as compensation to the Hojo. As we see, there's this metal box here with all of these seals, chains, and ropes holding it down. Oh, I wonder what could be in there. We see that Takayuchi is going through using all of his abilities. He's like exploding like this aura, or like this aura of darkness is like emanating from his body, and it like goes inside all of our like characters' bodies, and they all start to vomit, right? We see Shino, we see Ayako, we see Kojiro, Gimba, everybody, Shizuku, Tokoyuki. And they're like, oh, what's this? I feel sick. Like my body and mind are both vomiting. My head, my chest, my guts. Is so bad that I can't move. It's a projection of evil divine power, enough to kill anyone whose resistance is so weak. This is the power that killed Tadayoshi's child without touching him, as Takayuji just comes through using his bow Naginata to destroy the landscape. Oh, it's no use. His strength is monstrous. We're twisted with pain. This isn't a fight anymore. Kojiro's barely able to try to attack him, but Takayuji throws Kojiro away. Instead of displaying his exquisite martial arts skills, he's lashing out with savage force. He's as ruthless as an evil god and utterly lacking in human civility. What is this? As we just see that everything is looking terrible. Elusive warriors down for the count, as Tokuyuki vomits in front of Takayuji, as he just thinks, I can't help but feel sick. In thought, deed, and manner of fighting, he's nothing but a disgusting monstrosity. I was prepared to die. Not like this. I can't let someone so repulsive beat me. As Takayoji just speaks, "You're out of retainers, Tokoyuki, and your plans have failed. Grudges, military strength. That is all you've managed to build over the years. At last, peace shall come." As Tokuyuki's not able to move on the ground, and Takayuji grabs his naginata and swings it at Tokoyuki's neck. But then, all of a sudden, there's 2 vertical slashes, one on the right, one on the left. A slash almost forming the roof between these 2, and then 2 cross slashes, almost forming an X in a square. As Tokoyuki looks at the direction from where this attack came, as Uesugi rides up on a horse. Regrettably, there was some memory and skill loss due to a lack of blood flow to the brain. And hey, it was 6 months before he regained his consciousness and his memory, and could really take up the sword again. He demanded to return, but I spent another 6 months using him for my experiments, in treating my beloved Type 60 human being. I never really intended to return him to you, but Tokuyuki Dono, you've earned my trust, and I offer this as compensation. As all of the elusive warriors look shocked, we see Shizuku, Ginba, Kodoro, Shina, and Ayako all staring at this person. As tears start to run down Tokuyuki's face. No, is this a dream, or is it really you? As to end off this chapter, we get a full-page spread. As we see, it's Fubuki. Oh my god, it's Fubuki. And Fubuki just says, "My lord, I'm back." Oh, the heartstrings, man. Reading this chapter is what reminded me to make last video on Weekly Shonen Jump. How much I love manga and the stories that it weaves. That even if I am not enjoying recording a video, there's always a time in my life where I will. And the Elusive Samurai has meant so much to me as a manga series. It was the first series that I started to read from the moment it began in Weekly Shonen Jump. Like the very, not the very first week I read Weekly Shonen Jump, but I'd say probably the 6th or 7th week that I got caught up on My Hero and was reading all of the chapters. It's oh my gosh, I don't believe it. Holy shit, Fubuki is back! Oh my god, it just brings so back so many nostalgic memories of oh my gosh, the times when I was reading manga, Fubuki got introduced, all that stuff with early The Elusive Samurai. And now, oh my gosh, Fubuki is back in the story. He's reunited with all of his friends. This chapter is amazing, guys. I told you earlier, there's, I already knew who my character of the week was, and honestly, I'm sort of torn if it's Fubuki or Uesugi, but it's probably Fubuki. But also, just the Elusive Samurai was so good this week, gosh. I love this hobby of manga, and nothing else can prepare you really a great reveal like this. But after the Elusive Samurai, we have Witch Watch, chapter number 220 up next. Very simply, this is a Chami chapter, also interacting with everybody's favorite social star, Dory, right? There's a whole joke where, hey, Dory has been overworking himself, so he falls asleep on a dime, and oh no, he can't wake up, so Chami has to have Slump pretty much animate his body here in the moment, right? And oh my gosh, there's some fire to get set off, and eventually, Dory ends up pretty much saving this random person, right? It's a really funny chapter. I'm just so hungry, and I don't have much to say about it. Is what it is there, right? But believe me, it was a good chapter of Witch Watch. I definitely laughed my ass off while reading it, which, to be fair, for a Witch Watch chapter, it's typically what I want to do, right? Alright, but now it's time to rank all of these series from what was my favorite series of the week to my least favorite series of the week, and all of the other 12 spots in between. I'm going to be real. I'm going to start off on the bottom this week, starting off with Hima-Ten. That I made it clear. I don't like Hime-no-no. I think it's weird, and I'm not going to stop thinking it's weird because it is weird, right? Right above that, we're going to put Harukaze Mound. Again, I just didn't really feel much for that chapter, and right above it, put Ekiden Bros. Wow. It's the same exact for how I ranked all the chapters last week. I'm really not surprised because, yeah, that's sort of how that goes. Again, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video and like a second ago, the Elusive Samurai is going to be my favorite chapter of the week. There's just something so awesome about that, and as I go and do that, I'm going to go and come down here to the bottom where I put Fubuki as my character of the week from the Elusive Samurai. Actually, I'm a little interested. When was the first time? Because I know Fubuki has gotten it before. Oh yeah, look at that. Fubuki got my character in the Elusive Samurai on the 27th of June of 2021. Look at that. Like I said, Fubuki's been a part of my life for a long time, and seeing it come back was just absolutely amazing. But going back to ranking chapters this week, there's no way that Akane-banashi is not going under the Elusive Samurai. That chapter was amazing. Following it up with Ichi, if I could spell, Ichi-Zawich, or Ichi-Zawich, however you're supposed to say, or what is it, no, it's not Modulo, it's Mara no Ichi, that's how they say it in Japanese, but Ichi the Witch is going to come next. Then we have Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Kagurabachi, Ping Pong Peril, Witch Watch, Someone Hurts, Exis Kyoshi, Rui Dragon, and Blue Box. We're going to put, I only wrote Ekiden, what am I doing? We're going to put Blue Box right above Ekiden Bros, Blue Box. Right above that, I think we're going to put Ruri Dragon. Good chapter, just like, I don't know, we're going to put it where I said I'm going to put it. Probably put Ulti X-Ro Kiyoshi, and then right above that, put Someone HERTZ, because, like, the airwaves hurts. I'm a broadcasting student in college. I know what those are, right? Then we have Ping Pong Peril, Kagurabachi, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, and Witch Watch. That Modulo chapter was good. That Kagurabachi chapter was good. I also think it's one of these things where I read that Kagurabachi chapter so long ago, my opinion's sort of skewed. But we're going to put Kagurabachi in the we're going to put, okay, under each of which, we are going to put Witch Watch. I didn't really talk about that chapter. I just thought it was really funny. I just don't have too much to say about it. Under that, we are going to put Kagurabachi, Ping. Oh, if I can type, Ping Pong Peril. And then JJK Modulo. Wow, that's all the chapters ranked this week. And I know that made no coherent sense, so to everybody watching at home, the way I ranked these chapters this week, my favorite chapter was The Elusive Samurai, followed by Akane-banashi, Ichi the Witch, Witch Watch, Kagurabachi, Ping Pong Peril, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Someone Hurts, Ultimate Exis Kyoshi, Ruri Dragon, Blue Box, Ekiden Bros, Harukaze Mound, and Hima-Ten. And my character of the week was Fubuki. And yeah, with all of that being said, I don't want to wrap this one up a little bit on a dime, but I am so hungry. It's now 5:26 at the point of recording this video. I've been recording this video for like an hour and 4 minutes. My stomach is grumbling so mad. Like, I'm hungry, right? If you enjoyed this video, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about all sorts of anime and manga related content. Along with that, go check out this podcast on podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Podbean, all of those things. You can find it on there. And the YouTube channel where I've got my Glowplasma manga stuff. Go check that stuff out around town, you know? I'll catch you guys next time for Weekly Shonen Jump, issue number 46 of 2025. Until then, this will be Glowplasma signing out. Yeah, I have no thing else to say. Ichi the Witch, Akane-banashi, and the Elusive Samurai were amazing. Fubuki, my go. I'm so hungry. I'll catch you guys next time. This will be Glowplasma signing out.